Is it on? Are we live? You do realize everybody's here, right? There's gonna be nobody on.
Well, that's why we didn't want to do a. Live.
Good morning. Good morning. We have a big event going on, so I don't know how many people are actually going to be on here. I think everybody's in store. Aaron and I were just talking about that. Let's see if we get anybody. Suzanne and John probably. We got any people? We got any people? No.
One, but I think that's me. Wanda.
Wanda. Oh, that's right. Wanda's not here today. Hi, Wanda. At least I get to talk to somebody. I'll die laughing if you're the only one, Wanda. We'll know who wins the gift card.
The camera's back. Like, flipped.
Is it?
You don't see it?
Uh-uh.
It's the authorized back, and so it's backwards.
Oh, how funny. Oh, there you go. I gotta sneeze.
Good morning.
As I'm sneezing. Sorry. Hi, Sheila. I don't see her up there. There she is. So there's 2 on here. 2 chances to win. Is there? I don't see him there. Oh, they're just not in the chat. They have to say something. Oh, Phyllis. Okay, Gloria. Wait a minute. I thought Gloria was in the event.
This must be from New York. She said cold from New York.
Oh. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Sheila. I know we don't even have the table today because it's out in the event room. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Let's see. Who else do we have? Stormy. It's a full house, I'll tell you that. There's Suzanne. I know, it's been crazy. I don't even know who I am right now. We're so tired. But it's a great event. It's a good turnout. Just so you don't know, it's the brother event I'm talking about that we have. So don't come by the store till Monday. We're closed for the next few days. Oh, we got 13 people. That's good. So we got some things coming up. Let's see if we can put the banners up. That way I know. Cake mix. Oh, that's right. I will say the Friday the 5th is sold out. Oh, this is just the trunk show, December 4th. Oh, that's right. So come and see what's been made already. How many quilts do we have coming in for the trunk show? Oh, okay, great. Stuff from Moda. That ought to be fun. And we all know Kathy does that show and teaches us. Here's the hands-on. There we go. I think a lot of you that are on took this already, so hopefully we'll have some new people and some return customers. It's fun. If you ever want to learn foundation paper piecing, that's basically what this is, but it's like no hassle. It's not what you think. It's really great fun. It's all using layer cakes and stuff, so easy peasy.
And this one, the 5th is sold out.
Oh, it's the 5th on this one. It's sold out. So let's get some people. Oh, this is the one I'm waiting for, Fabian. So he works with on fashion. What is it? Project Runway. I just went blank on it. I tell you, my brain's fried. And that's the one I'm excited about. It's going to be a free show. And so you can come and learn some tips and tricks with him. And I heard that Bernina's sending him out just to kind of get our juices going here, creative juices and stuff. I can't wait. Oh, and of course, he's amazing. I met this guy at a local quilt store, and it's Ramis, and it's just amazing the stuff that he does. His portraits, I think he's got a couple of like a Jackson or something like that, different artists that he has up, and he recreates them, and it's just amazing. I'm always in awe of people like that. I can't do that. So he's coming up. So who do we have coming up that we're showing today? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I have to have cues. He won't print me cues. Oh no. Ugh. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. There we go.
We got Veronica with Jennifer Giggles.
Oh, that's right.
They're going to be showcasing some rulers.
That's the ruler work, the different rulers we have, which we have some in stores. I know there's some deals and stuff with those rulers as well.
Yeah, there's 3 bundles.
So that's what's going to be coming up.
We'll
It's
play-
just going to be pre-recorded, so hang in there, guys.
We'll play that, and then you'll come back on to do the giveaway.
Yeah, and then I have the giveaway at the end.
All right?
I always need cue notes, but Aaron won't do it. Like, I'm just going to wing it then. So here it goes.
We'll jump in.
On what we're going to do today. I'm really excited about our guest speaker. Her name is Jennifer Giggis, and let's go ahead and put her on. Hi, Jennifer.
How are you today?
Do I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Giggis? Okay, so I am saying
Jiggas, close enough. I'm here, so you got it right.
it could be Giggis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jennifer, I have to tell you, and I have to tell the audience today that you're the reason why we are doing these Thumbs Up Thursdays.
Oh,
No,
well,
you are. You're the one that gave me the idea.
I'm glad that it's working out and that it has been successful for you.
It has been very successful. And I can tell you, I remember when you first told me that we needed to start doing these, I know my eyes were like this, like, what? And I said, okay, great. I said, I can get Tony and I can get Barbie and everything. She goes, no. She goes, you need to do it.
Well, I'm sure that everybody who is out watching is super excited that you are taking the time and they get to see you, because I know when you're running a store how busy the day-to-day can be, and it's hard, right, to be back out and to be able to do all of the things, you know, that you did when you started that shop.
It is. And I get nervous. I mean, people don't realize, they think I just get up here, but I get really super nervous before I do these. And it's only because I just really want it to be right, you know, and I am very excited. I want to tell you that we are doing this, and we've kind of turned it more into like I mean, you know, you sell stuff obviously, but we really do focus on the education component of it. And so the customers have really been commenting on that a lot, that they're really learning from the Thumbs Up Thursdays, in addition to being able to shop as well. So you have some really cool things to show. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get started. I think it's, you know, Floriani, R&K, all my favorite products. So, and now they're going to be excited to see what you have to show. Go ahead.
I'm really excited to be here. So
Thank you.
I'm going to, you know, do my thing, pop in if there are questions, because I can't see the screen. And, you know, the worst thing to do is ever give me a stage, because I'll stay up here until somebody shuts me down. So I will try to be cognizant of your time so that, you know, you get a lot from this and I don't overstay my welcome. So, you know, one thing Veronica didn't share, and so we'll have to ask her towards the end. I'm curious to know what my new title and position is. So,
Put me
that could
back
be
on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So, and I didn't know this email actually went out because I was teasing with Aaron. So Aaron was afraid to say, because I said, we wanted to describe who you were. And I said, well, she's the COO of R&K now. And he goes, and we were like, oh, Chief Operating Officer. And he goes, well, I don't know if everybody's going to know what a COO is. You know, they're going to think you're a coup.
are they going to care? So what?
I said, well, just say she's chief in charge.
I like it. That works. That's right.
That's what we put on our email. We put you the chief in charge because you are. Yeah. So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. That's a big That was a big undertaking. You're doing a great job.
I
So,
mean,
all
I'm
right.
pretty sure it's no one else wanted the job. So there you go.
Okay. So let's put back on the chief in charge.
Okay. So, for all of you who are out here wondering, so why would you bring on, right, somebody who is that manages a business? I actually came up through this industry starting out as an educator, and prior to that, having my own a business where I did custom children's wear. And so for me, this is as much a passion as it is anything else. So I feel very, very fortunate. What I think is an advantage for you, and hopefully for retail shops that are out there, is I do quilt and I do embroider. So when we're looking at products and what should we bring to market, what should we develop, I feel like it should be something that is going to be of a value to you as a quilter and really make a difference in what you're doing. Do different needs rulers? No. Well, unless they're Quilter Select rulers, yes, you need all of them. But in all honesty, I could take you through a grouping and say these are the 6 that you really need. After that, it's about what's going to make my journey and my time that I spend in my sewing studio more convenient, and how am I going to get things done a little faster. I don't have oodles and oodles of time to sew, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So when I do go into my sewing room, I would rather have the products that are there that are going to make it a pleasant experience while I'm in there, that I will be able to get as much done in the time that I have for that day, whether it's 15 minutes or whether it's a couple of hours. I want to be successful, and I want to get some beautiful things made. Now, I know, and it comes sometimes as a surprise when we're out and about, that not everyone is familiar with the Quilter Select brand. So I want to introduce you first to kind of what I would call our flagship products, and those are our Quilter Select rulers. Now, Alex Anderson is sort of was the force behind the development of this brand, and she had come across some products out in the wild under our Floriani family of products, and loved them. And so she reached out to the company and said, for a quilter, we would love this if you could just tweak it just this little bit or this little bit. So some of our foundational products are products that we use for paper piecing and such, came through from that journey. And so as an extension, one of the things that if you have ever cut anything with a rotary cutter and a ruler, that the ruler can shift and can slide. So the back of all of the rulers in the Quilter Select family have a non-slip coating. And this coating covers the entirety of the ruler. So no matter where you place it or position it on your fabric, it's not going anywhere. And so not only does it give us more accurate cuts because the ruler has that grip, it's gripping right onto our fabric, but it also means that, especially as we get a little older, it can be hard to put manual pressure down on a ruler to hold it in place. And it's also not particularly ergonomically friendly, even when we're younger, to be pushing and putting lots of stress on our arm as we're trying to hold the ruler down. So the coating on these rulers has really changed the way that that we cut, for Quilter Select users are cutting. The other thing that's unique about the rulers within the line, Alex, here's your trivia for the day, is left-handed. And so it was important for her, and as an advocate for the other left-handed quilters that are out there, to make sure that all of the rulers in the line could be used by both right and left-handed users alike. And what I found as a right-handed quilter is that this is really also very convenient. If I'm working on something very large and I need to work from both sides of my cutting table, if I have my larger ruler already positioned on the table, if I walk around to the other side, I can still figure out where I'm going because my numbers are reading in both directions. So I think that's pretty cool. They have all of the angle markings that you would need for most of the types of projects that you're doing. And so the ruler that I'm holding up is what I'm going to call our classic edition. And so also when they were introduced, to get that full type of a non-slip coating on the back, it came in different tints. And yellow is the most fabric. You can see dark fabrics through it. You can see light fabrics through it. There's no glare. It's gentle on the eyes. If you ever look at glasses that are meant for wear when you're working at a computer all day, oftentimes you're going to see some with that little bit of a yellow tint to it. And so this does come from a very high-tech industry, actually. So Quilter Select Classic Line Rulers, that's your introduction. And the two other products that I would say, if you have not seen them, then you want to make sure you take a trip to Authorized to have a look and just to test them out, especially with those Tilda fabrics that are there right now. I want to help everyone remember to circle back around to those 2.5-inch, those strip set jelly rolls that Veronica had mentioned. I have a little tip, a little trick for you. So the other two key items in the family are our rotary cutter and our mats. And one of the benefits with the rotary cutter is that, again, it is both a right or a left-handed cutter, right? And some of us do cut with either one, depending on what we're doing. And there's nothing special to making it right or left cutting. You simply pick it up, push the button, and you begin to cut. Tap it to close it. If I'm left-handed or cutting with my left hand, same thing. A little press, I start to cut, let go of that little button because now my blade is down, cut, and tap to secure. But the thing that I love the most about this rotary cutter is the way we change the blade. We just pull this little lever back. There's a magnetic pin in the center. So the pieces in the middle, number one, are not going flying all over the floor, to include the blade, which we don't want flying all over the room. So everything stays together. I don't have to take pieces out one at a time, lay them out carefully so that I can get it back together again. So I really like that. And I should mention, since I talked about the ergonomics with the ruler, that the first thing you'll notice if you've never used a Quilter Select rotary cutter is it has a little bit of weight to it. And I liken that to a quality tool. When you pick up a quality hammer or a quality screwdriver, they're not super lightweight. They've got a little heft to them. And in the case of a rotary cutter, you want that little bit of heft to it so that as you begin to work through the fabric, the rotary cutter is going to do part of the job for you, right? It's going to help to add that little weight to cut through your layers of your fabric for you. So it's a benefit. All right. So what's new and what's exciting and what's amazing right now in the Quilter Select line? Whether you have a history with Quilter Select products or this is your first introduction, this is a great starting place then for you if you're a brand newbie. And I know that towards the end of the presentation, we'll talk a little bit about how you can bring these products home. And hint, hint, anytime that I show up on a program somewhere, there's probably a special bonus pricing for you. So I don't want to be, that pushy person, but I want you to be aware of that. So what are we going to talk about today? We have often been requested to create a clear set of our classic edition rulers. And I kind of chuckled as I was taking some photos. They're clear, and so these are really not easy to photograph. So I hope, Authorized team, that I did okay for you. So what's the difference between the classic line and what we are calling the Crystal Edition? And really the only difference is that it's what I'm calling a clear coat on the reverse side of the ruler. So it still is that full non-slip. When I pop this down on my mat, it is not, or my fabric, it's not going anywhere. It's going to hold that fabric beautifully. Being a quilter, I love that, they all match in my sewing room, the clear and the classic yellow. But I also wanted a reason as a quilter to bring these Crystal Edition rulers into my personal space. And so each of the 5 rulers in the Crystal Edition family are new to the Quilter Select line. Okay, so it's not a replacement of something you might already have in your stash. And literally 3 hours ago, hot off the press, this is the first time we've stood up and talked about these, the 2 newest in this Crystal Edition line, which was just released the first of the year, is a 10x10 and a 5x5. The rationale or the reasoning or how are these related to each other? Why did we pick this particular grouping of sizes? I picked it for 2 reasons. The first being I wanted something that I could easily take with me if I was going to a workshop or to a class or to a retreat or perhaps even flying with my rulers. So the 2 longer rulers in the family are 18 inches in length, and we'll talk more about those in a minute. These are going to fit nicely into a carry bag, a carry-on piece of luggage, into your tote for taking with you to class. The 5 by 10 are a great size also, right? They'll all fit nicely into my bag and take with me. But every one of the rulers in this family also works beautifully with pre-cut fabrics, whether we're talking about strip sets, whether we're talking about the 5 by 5s or the 10 by 10s. This is the size that you need to diagonally cut through your 10 by 10 fabrics easily and quickly. 24 will work, of course, because it's longer, but sometimes, remember that thing about convenience. I find it more convenient to use, this is an 18-inch, to use an 18-inch ruler to cut through that diagonal than to pick up my 24-inch. And a 12, we all know, is not quite long enough. So they were designed with travel, with workshops, and with pre-cuts in particular in mind, so that they work together as a grouping and as a unit. You can make almost any quilt with this grouping of rulers, okay? But that's their relationship to each other. So 10 by 10, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you are creating something with your 10 by 10 packs, or you're creating any type of a standard block where you want to be able to trim that block down, and it is, I'm going to say, larger than 5 by 5, I like this guide best for anything between that 5 and 10 inch that I'm wanting to square up and trim down. I also like this one if I'm cutting segments out of my 10 by 10, because it's less ruler to move around than a longer ruler. Okay, so that's my kind of, why would I use this one? The 5 by 5, if I'm squaring something up, let's say I'm making half square triangles and I want to trim them down. I know that there's a school of thought where I need a 2.5 inch square, I need a 3.5, I need a 4.5, I need a 5.5. Absolutely. If that makes you happy, yes, you need every one of those rulers. For me personally, and the way that I sew, I like that 5-inch ruler for anything that is smaller than a 5-inch. This is a nice size for me to pick up and to move around. As they get really, really tiny, any of you quilters who make 1.5 inch finished units, you have all of my admiration. Those are so tiny and so wee. But for me, it's very uncomfortable to work with a ruler that's that tiny. I'd rather have something a little larger. So I use the 5-inch guide either to quarter up my 10-inch units to work with my 5-inch units, or for any other traditional type of piecing, I would use my 5-inch if I'm doing, let's say, a 4 at a time, an 8 at a time, half square triangle method where I need to come back in and trim it down. I would rather use something a little larger than a little smaller. Okay. Also in the family, and you're going to see my two favorites in a moment. Oh, here we go. I have them open. The 4.5 by 18 and the 8.5 by 18. So again, it's a good size for cutting on that diagonal. It's a nice size for fitting in my bag without breaking it. If you are working with full width yardage, right off the bolt versus something that's pre-cut, if your fabric is folded one more round, you can easily cut through 4 layers of fabric, and you can hit all the way through the yardage fabric using your 18-inch ruler. And then it's very seldom that you're cutting a strip to start with before you do any cross cutting that's larger than 8.5. So this is a perfect size for almost any strip cut work that you happen to be doing. If you are a newer quilter, or if you're wondering, where can I get more information about some of these rulers, or how to use these rulers, or you threw out the 4 at a time half square method and the 8 at a time half square method, and I don't know what that is. We don't have the time and the scope of today's presentation to talk about it, but on the Facebook, the Quilter Select Facebook group page, that's a lot to spit out. We have ongoing quilt blocks and quilt projects, stitch-alongs that are released. Every week we release new content. And so this is the piece that we finished. And I know it's kind of hard to see the whole thing in these tight quarters, but this is a sampler that we just finished up, maybe 4 weeks ago. And in the information for these blocks, you'll find different ways to cut and construct. So we have provided information on 2 at a time half squares, 4 at a time, 8 at a time, fussy cut, etc. Different ways to do flying geese. For those of you who love them, hate them, either way, they're not my favorite. So I look for quick and easy ways to do that. And so can you use any product? Yes. Am I going to show you how to do it using Quilter Select? Yes. Can you take that 4 at a time information and convert it? Yes. So all of that information and all of that education is there for you as well. And then if there's something that you're missing out of your stash, if I suggest that you use my personal favorite 3-in-1 ruler, you can head over to Authorize to pick that up. Perfect segue into the 3-in-1 ruler, which is ruler number 5 in the Crystal Edition grouping. Almost any quilt that you're going to make once you get beyond doing 4 patches and 9 patches is going to require half square triangle units somewhere. Let me bring this guy back out again. Several years ago, I took a class on, it was called fussy cutting quilts. And most of the time we think about fussy cutting and we think about, right, centering something from our fabric in our quilt block. And that is one way to look at fussy cutting. I think about it more as using my fabric intentionally, right? Thinking about the direction that I want the fabrics to go. I am really picky about stripes and which way my stripes go in my project. I want them to either be running all the same way or look like they're radiating out. Nothing makes me crazy faster than a stripe in a block that's going this way and then this way and then this way. And so I look at it and visually I get confused. So when I talk about fussy cutting, I'm talking about using my fabric with intention. So here I have this stripe. This would have made me crazy. They're all going the same direction in that block. I personally would not have loved using an 8 at a time or a 4 at a time method because I don't have control over where my stripes are going. So for that particular type of a method, I like my, we have one open. I like my 3-in-1 ruler. And the 3-in-1, this is the Crystal Edition and it's a mini. I love this guy because again, convenience, right? There is a larger one. This one is the one that I use most often. It will make half square triangles up to 4 inches. It will make quarter square triangles up to 6 inches. How does that work? So let's say we want to make half square triangles like we see here. I believe these finished at 2 inches. Okay, when I talk about finished, I'm talking about here in the quilt as opposed to the unit. The finished is once it's all the way sewn in and it's done. We're not going to be stitching around this anymore. That means I need the unit itself to be 2.5 inches because I need a seam allowance and a seam allowance. So if I'm using my half square triangle ruler, if I'm using my 3-in-1, I need to cut 2.5 inch strips. So I would take my fabric, whether it's off the bolt, whether it's a pre-cut piece, it does not really matter. What you need is just a 2.5 inch strip in this case to start. And by the way, if you are furiously taking notes because you want to know how am I going to make these 2.5 inch or finish 2 inch half square triangles later, on the back side of the product, there is a QR code that will take you to a video that will tell you all of those things so you don't have to remember. Okay, so we're going to cut through that fabric and it helps if it's all the way on the mat. There we go. Now, I did not show you this earlier. Let me get some of my toys out of the way here. An advantage of working with these lovely non-slip rulers and our mats is that once I have this down on my mat, you saw me take that first cut to clean up, my ruler will hold my fabric securely enough that I can just rotate this around and continue cutting. So I want that 2.5 inch half square, triangle, quarter square. So we're going to work with a half square. I will position that ruler with the 2.5 inch line on one side of the strip, and there's a little nubbed edge on the other end. So I'll make my first cut, rotate my ruler around, align it again with the nibbed edge on one end of the strip, the 2.5 on the other side, and make the next cut, and so on and so on and so on. And so what happens with this method is that I can see in my fabric right away which way my stripe will go, so that I have control over how it's going to radiate out from the block. Because it clips that little end off, when I get ready to stitch these together and I lay them right sides together, that little nipped edge shows me where my needle should drop so that I'll get a nice 1/4 inch seam all the way down. If you have cut this accurately and you have stitched it accurately, you don't need to go back in and square them up. They will be perfect every single time. So how cool is that? But not only does it give me a way to be able to keep my stripes, etc., in line, if you're using a traditional method to do your 2.5 inch finished triangles or half square triangles, you have to start with a bigger piece of fabric. It's usually something that has, an awful measurement like a 7/8 involved. If I'm working with scraps, this is the most economical way, or the way to use the smallest piece of fabric possible out of my scrap bin to still get my 2.5 inch strip sets. So that takes me to, back to this. Now this is not Tilda. This is for display. I didn't know we were going to talk about Tilda this morning. Out of a 2.5 inch strip set, using my 3-in-1 ruler, using that half square triangle, I was able to, from one strip set, create you can't even see the whole quilt, right? The whole quilt from the one jelly roll, so to speak. I could not have cut this same quilt using a traditional ruler and a traditional half square method. So I believe this guy has 64 blocks in it, something like that, 64 units. He is somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, by 60 finished to top. So, the ruler not only makes our life easier, gives us perfect half square triangle units, but it gives you a way to efficiently use your fabric. Other new items and goodies in the grouping or in the family. I do like to keep things very tidy so I can find them. There is a grouping or a bundle that Authorized will be talking about for you today that is on special, that includes your ruler rack to hold your goodies in place with handy by your sewing area. Personally, I have a couple of these racks. I love them. I keep one right next to my machine with my smaller rulers that I might be doing some trimming as I go. And I keep one on my cutting table so that I have my tools that are there ready to go as well. Now, another item that we have been asked for, in addition to these clear rulers, which I absolutely love, and we've been asked, are you going to convert the entire line to the clear rulers? And my answer seriously is, don't know. It'll depend in part, do people really like the clear, or do they really like the clear rulers, or are we happy with the classic edition now that they're out here? As we do introduce them at this point in time, though, they will be sizes that are new sizes. So you've heard it here. I've also been asked several times about a rotating mat. When we are looking at product development, sometimes it's about the product that you're being asked for, and sometimes it's about the problem that it will solve. And really what we're trying to solve with a rotating mat is, how do I get to the other side of my block when I'm trimming something down without having to move the fabric? And so this is our semi-new to the line wool press and cut mat. And what I've discovered is that this is almost like my 3-in-1 ruler. I use this every time I sit down to sew, and for several reasons. First of all, it's a pressing surface, and it's a wool pressing surface, which means I get a crisper press to my fabric. So all of my quilt blocks go here. But those of you that do machine embroidery, a better finished embroidery piece will have been pressed from the back side of the embroidery. And if you press it down into the wool, it doesn't flatten it out. It still keeps that dimension that we love from our machine embroidery side. So I wool side for that. I also use it. I do a lot of my by 48. So noted. On the other side, we have a 14 by 14 traditional cutting surface. And so this is going to be a great one, again, to take to workshops and travel with your Clear Edition rulers, because it's all going to fit in one bag or container for you. Most blocks are somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 inches when they finish up. Now, I know there are anomalies. There are 16, there's 18, but most of the time we're doing something more in that 12-inch range. So this is going to cover most of those needs for us. But then when I put that wool side down on my standard cutting surface or even on my table, I can very easily turn this. And unlike some of the rotating mats that are out there that either turn when you're not wanting them to turn, or it's really difficult actually to move them around, this moves really, really easily. And so it solves that problem for us. So this is the 14 by 14 wool cut and press, wool cut and press, wool press and cut board from the Quilter Select family. And the one more new item that I want to share with you is we're following kind of that whole color story, because everything in our sewing studios should be color coordinated and beautiful. And when we travel, color coordinated and beautiful. This is an applique mat. And this is the thermos of my sewing room. It's a non-slip mat, but it's also a non-stick mat. So what do I mean by that? It's a silicone press sheet. So if I'm doing applique work and I don't want to get sticky on my ironing surface, this is perfect, right? I could build my appliques up, press them. I can just basically roll that gummy stuff right back off the mat when I'm done. You can press on it. It's heat resistant up to 400 and some degrees. And so I use this on top of either my ironing board, or sometimes I'll put it over the back of the wool if I need that non-slip surface. And so I use this as a temporary ironing station. So if I were going to a retreat, this would go in the bag with my clear rulers, my mat, and here's my temporary ironing space. The other thing that this works really well, so that's where it's a non-stick surface, it's also non-slip. So if I'm working on a wood surface, maybe sometimes your mats can tend to shift just a little. I put this underneath a little mat that I keep next to my sewing machine, so that if I'm leaning over and maybe not being as ergonomically friendly as I should be, but I'm just leaning over to get that little cut in there, and I don't want my mat to slide away because I do have a wood sewing surface, my silicone mat is going to keep my little mat from rolling away, but it also keeps our small tools and such from rolling away as well, right? If you've ever had to chase your seam ripper across the room, if all of those tools are sitting on your silicone mat, they're not going to go anywhere. So I love this guy, love this guy, love this guy. Phew, what can I say about those products and those items? They are amazing. And so if these are things that, as I've been talking through them, you're like, I just can't decide which ones I need, there is an all-in-one grouping and bundle. And it also includes, because again, it should be pretty. These are titanium rotary cutter blades, and we all run through them and we need them. They last a little longer. They have an iridescent color to them that blends beautifully.
We could have a question.
Do you have a question?
Yeah.
How does the mat
Not warm.
not warp?
This guy? This one?
I believe so.
Not sure.
Right,
Marie,
because this is the one
Rosalie?
we get questions about. So there is a barrier in between the cutting side and the wool side. Okay. Now, will it warp? If you use excessive steam, you may get a little bit of curvature to it. However, and I'm an excessive steamer, so mine at home, yep, it's got a little bit. Now, is it a U shape? No, it's a tiny little bit. If I looked at it and I was being like uber sensitive about it, I would say, yes, there's a little warp. But because you've got wool on this side, it acts like shock absorbers, right? The reason you don't want a warp in your cutting mat is then you put it down and it's not flat. Because it's on the wool, when I put it down, you don't know that there's a warp. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
All right.
totally. Am I on?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Oh,
trying to
good.
you all.
I was so excited when I saw that mat, that pressing mat. Number one, I love the color.
Yep.
And that's important in a sewing studio. And then number two, I love the combination. I always have. There's another brand that has made one for years,
Mhm.
but it's not wool on the other side. And the wool is really the best, especially for your embroidery. Absolutely. And that's such a great size.
Yeah. And if your block is never exactly the right, if it ever is not the right size and you need to, give it a little steam and stretch it out a little bit. Yeah. The wool is perfect for that. You can pin it there and sort of force it into submission.
It's fantastic. And that'll actually fit really well on those cabinets that have the side returns. That'll be perfect right there for them. So they don't have to get up and all that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. You're not cheap in charge for no reason. You know what you're talking about.
I think for me is what I feel like makes our products, just sort of that one step above, because I do use them and I do know, right, like how they're going to function and whether it makes sense or not in a sewing studio.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm definitely seeing with Floriani and with Quilter Select is that there's a quilter involved, there's a sewer involved, there's an embroiderer involved. It's wonderful. And, you actually have a lot of other history than just the just here and what you said. I mean, you ran a very successful dealership actually here in California. And you also were like head of education for a major brand, Bernina, one that I sell. So I mean, I'm just grateful that you came on and wanted to share these wonderful products. And I'm really grateful for the fact that we're going to be able to offer them a really great deal on this. So if you kind of want the I want it all package, we have that available for you. And make sure you're staying tuned on here because we're not done talking. And at the very end, when we're going to give away a $50 gift card. So make sure you stay on for these deals here. Yeah. So you'll have a chance to win a $50 gift card. So what are the deals? Let's talk about them.
Okay. Am I talking about it? Or are you talking about it? Who's talking?
I'll talk about them. Sure. Okay. So we have the Crystal Ultimate Edition, where you're going to get, it looks like all of the new rulers, which are, go ahead and what are the sizes again, Jennifer?
There's an 8.5 by 18, 4.5 by 18, 10 by 10, 5 by 10, 5 by 5, and the indispensable 3-in-1 for half square triangles and quarter square triangles.
That 3-in-1 is awesome. So you're going to get all of those, and none of those sizes duplicate if you have any of the yellow rulers as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you're going to get a really cool, I've never seen that rotary blade. I absolutely love that. And I also love the tray for your rulers. It's wonderful because you can also put that wonderful rotary cutter right there in that little area. And that's how we actually have it set up on our cut table at the store. We use the rotary cutters because it's much easier on our hands. That extra weight when you're cutting a lot of fabric, it really does help a lot. So that's what we have on our cut tables. And we also have the yellow Quilter Select ruler, the 6.5 by 24, 6 by 24. That's what we use on our cut table because it doesn't move when we're trying to cut people's fabric for them. So let's go back to that real quick because I want to see that pricing. Oh my gosh.
I did have a question too.
We do? What's the question? Hi, Ellen. Wow, great deal. Oh, she's already knows that's a good deal. Danielle Brock says,
what size blades?
Oh, what size blades are available in the cutter? I think it's at 45 millimeter right now.
Yes. So
45 and 60.
The blades that are coming with the bundle are the 45 millimeter blades, but we do have 28 millimeter and 60 millimeter, not in the titanium. Those are in what I'm going to call the classic blade style.
Right. Okay. You're going to get the mat that's going to help you from things moving. And then also you're going to get the cutting mat with the wool mat on the other side, that pretty teal one. So you're going to get it all. This is kind of like the I Want It All bundle that's worth $420.91. And you're going to be getting it for $249.99. That is a really good deal. So you're basically getting all of what's new in this awesome Ultimate Edition bundle. Okay. Do we have something else that's available as well?
We got two more.
Okay. So we also have the Crystal Plus Edition, where you're going to get all of the rulers. And this one, you're going to get just the rotary blade and the new mat. So what are we taking away here?
The tray and the silicone.
Oh, the tray and the silicone. Okay. That one is worth $331 and you are getting it for $199.99 today. And all of our pricing right now goes from today until next Thursday. Some of you ask, but we always keep that sale price for 1 week from today until the next Thumbs Up Thursday. Next. Core Crystal Edition. So you're getting I love the way you kept all 5 of those rulers in there because that's exactly what I would want. So at least if you want just all 5 of the rulers, you're going to get them for $149.99 today. So we're talking about a $56, $57 savings. Really good pricing here. And I have to tell you a funny story, Jennifer, real quick before we continue on. When the yellow rulers, when the yellow rulers first came out, this is what I refer to as yellow. It's the coating that's on the outside. You all shipped them in. This is before you were with R&K. They shipped them into the store, and I thought they were the ugliest things I had ever seen. And I said, and I didn't take them out of the plastic. And I literally thought that they looked like a smoker's ruler.
Yep. Yep.
And this is what I did. This is what I did with them. I didn't even put them out on the floor. I didn't even put them out. I thought this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Why did they send me these rulers? And so then it was like a lot of money to ship them back. So I just kept them and I threw them the 50% off bin. Guess what happened?
Well, they
My
were
customers
gone. All
bought
of
them.
the people who got them for 50% off were probably so excited they couldn't stand it.
Customers bought them and they had no idea what they were buying. So then they started coming in and saying, I want more sizes of these rulers. Where are they? And I'm like, I don't carry them. That's why 50% off them. They said, do you realize how great these rulers are? I said, no, show me. And so they showed me. They're like, oh my gosh, the fabric, it doesn't move once it's on the fabric and allows me to cut so much more precisely. And I said, wow, I can't believe I 50% off these. I mean, that was crazy, right? So then when you came out with this, I was a much happier camper. I was like, wow, I love these. I love the sizes. I still love my yellow rulers, though. I'm going to have to say, since now that I've gotten used to them,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard, but not that hard because I really, really like these a lot. So that's why I wanted to do a thumbs up on it, because I love, a lot of people will, see these, oh, which one do I buy? Well, we're offering a really great, just buy it all. Just get them. You're going to use every single one of these. These aren't odd sizes or anything. They're just, they have a purpose.
And, the holidays are coming faster than we really think that they should. Christmas in July is almost here, and that's like a national holiday anymore.
Get what you want.
Somebody that you're trying to encourage in, to get started in quilting, even if you did just the rulers to start, this is a great gift, right, for them. And actually, so I did do the math because I wanted it to make sense, right? Again, being the quilter, I'm like, okay, which ones do I do? There is only $100 difference between just the rulers and the whole thing, but it's $200 more of product. So.
Wow. Yeah. So the first package that we talked about is really the best deal.
I Want It All is the best value for you.
That would be the best deal. Okay. Awesome. Okay.
You got a couple questions.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, so we'll put it up on the screen. Here.
Oh, do the new ruler slip because they are clear?
They don't. So the reason initially, way back to the history lesson, I've lost my classic edition ruler here.
Great
somewhere.
question, Brenda.
Yes, excellent question. And so we had that concern too, that people would worry. So the original, because of the technology involved in the coating, we didn't have a choice when these were originally developed. This is the same coating without a color to it. So if you touch them, you'll see they have that same grippy power as the others.
I've already tried it.
Yep.
I've already tried it. It's the same exact grip.
I know. I wish you
so
were all
glad.
here so I could just pass it around and say, just touch it.
Same exact grip. Nothing changed, just the look of it. And believe me, if these rulers would have come in, I wouldn't have 50% off them. because they're so pretty. Actually, they're crystal clear, and I feel like you can see really well with them. I can still see really well with the yellow rulers though, so I can't say the yellow rulers are not as nice as the crystal clear ones because I've really gotten used to them, and so have you.
Yeah.
So what was that we just put up?
So Sherry had a question about deal on the rotary cutter.
Oh,
And so, I mean, we have it on sale currently. That's what I was going to show. We have it on sale for
on our website.
$55.49. So that's already on sale.
Oh, it's already on sale?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can purchase it off our website, and then we'll also honor that price in our store as well too, if you're interested. So yeah, so it is. Yep, we have a deal on that too, Miss Sherry.
And then she had another one.
What's the difference between the two tray sizes? Great
Oh.
question again. Awesome.
Okay, so the tray that we're showing today is what I'm calling what we call the 3 millimeter tray. And it has to do with, we're going to totally just make a mess. The grooves in the tray, there's a 3 millimeter size and a 5 millimeter size. So if you do ruler work using either your domestic or your long arm machine, then that's where you're using the thicker rulers, the 5 millimeter rulers. And so there's one that's based for those, and the one in your package is cut for the traditional size rulers. Good question. You should have them both.
Yeah. And our long armors love that tray because they have lots of rulers as well too. And where do you put them? You know, they're just all at your access right there. I just love that. Hey, listen, thanks for coming over here, Barbie. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Oh my gosh, we're so excited about these new products, and keep them coming because they help us.
We will.
Big time.
Thank you to everybody who's here watching. And if you have thoughts about what we should introduce, send them to Veronica, send them to me. I don't care. Share my email, shamelessly, doesn't matter.
I'll tell you, So anyway, hey, you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for joining us today. Join us next Thursday for sure.
We're back. I hope everybody. What happened?
We're still on.
Oh, we're still on. I disappeared, so I figured I wasn't talking. So did everybody get some good information on those rulers and stuff? And like Veronica said, I have gotten used to the yellowy one. So, but you know what? I'm always buying another ruler. We can never have too many.
You see the word, right? You saw the word?
Oh, the word. Oh, he's previewing me the word. Can I say it now?
Well, maybe you can ask if there's any questions.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions or anything? Gina. What about the rotating mat? Oh, yeah. We sell the heck out of those rotating mats. Those are the daily ones, huh? Sue Dailies? Yeah. They have the ball bearings in them. They're lovely.
Danielle said hi, Eric.
Danielle. Francis, aren't you in a classroom somewhere and you're on here? I love it. Everybody's. So how many people? We have 28 people. So that means your chances of winning are pretty good. They're pretty good this time.
No questions?
No questions, huh? Okay.
We're ready to get to the giveaway.
I think we should just do the giveaway. So the word is clear. So let's see.
Wanted to ask, how much is the mat? Which mat?
Oh, the rotating mat. You know, you'd have to call us to see, or it's on our website as well. I want to say it's $50 some, 54, 59. I can't remember. Just give us a call or look on the website. Like I said, we had a lot going on this week, so come on, everybody. We've got 9 entries for clear. Everybody knows the look, they capitalize. It's good. Wanda. 20 entries now, and we have 29 people on. Let's get that $50 gift card.
It's not this one, is it?
Huh?
The square one?
No, the rotating one, it's the Sue Daily, the pink one. Isn't that what she showed?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only one we have in store. Quite frankly, that's about the only one I like anyways. Those bearings, it's smooth. We got 24 entries.
Hey, you got a good chance to win today.
Yeah. Let's see.
Today's the day.
How many minutes are we? Should we roll it?
Oh,
Everybody.
we got some extra people that just joined. So maybe
Oh, we
some-
did? Come on, the answer. The word is clear. Nope, there's still 24. I say draw it.
Draw it.
Draw it.
All right,
Roll it. Roll it.
let's-
Let's go. Come on, everybody. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oliver, yay! Winner, winner. Look at her cute puppies. Well, congratulations. Come in and pick up your gift card from us. And we hope to see everybody in the store next week. We'll be back open Monday. Okay, signing off.